Hello, Ruben here for VST Buzz, and I'm going to be taking about an hour or so to have a look at some of their synths in the Synth Week. They've got this huge offer on. It covers loads of different synths from lots of different manufacturers. There's ones there from Air Music Tech, there's Synthmaster, various contact instruments as well. There's also some sound sets for Omnisphere, other synths as well. There's some unique synths, all sorts of different things. So basically, they've bundled all the cool synths offers into one week, so you can get up to 90% off on these synths. I'm gonna look at 8 of them. Some of them I've used, some of them I've never used, and some of them I've only experienced kind of the presets. So we'll have a little look and see how we get on. But I'm going to be whizzing through them, just playing a lot of presets, fiddling about with some of the controls. I basically picked out the ones that I either already had or the ones that look most appealing. So we've got Air Music Tech's Hybrid 3, Dirty Modular from Samplephonics, which is a contact-based one, Sector by Initial Audio, which is sort of like a more budget price version of Serum, if anyone knows that one. Gas from Audio Warp, which is something that I'm kind of familiar with. I've had it for some time. Just like the sound of this one, it's not particularly complicated. Virtual CZ from Plugin Boutique, which is a really kind of traditional style sort of polysynth. Air Music Tech, the Riser, which is brilliant for all sorts of different riser sounds, pitch falls, modulations, swells, that kind of thing. Wiggle, which I have only just been investigating. I've not really played with it too much, but I love the design of it. It's got a massive interface as well, and it sounds really interesting. And Retcon by Boards of Canada, which is not going to be to everybody's tastes, but it's a very unusual design, some really nice kind of wavering analog sounds. That's the sort of thing I really enjoy playing with. But what I'm going to start with is actually something which is a little bit different. It's Syntorial by Audible Genius. So basically what this is kind of software for training you on how to use synths. What's the price on this one? €58, so it's 50% off. And basically it's sort of like ear training, but for synths. It takes you through all the individual controls, something I really like the look of. I haven't played too much with it, but yeah, I'm just gonna show you how it works. Basically what you have is a bunch of lessons down the side here. This is Syntorial. It runs in a separate app, but also comes with a synth which you can load as a plugin. It's basically the same synth that runs in the app. And then it takes you through all different lessons about pulse width modulation, waveforms, effects, that sort of thing. And what it asks you to do is kind of listen with your ears and reproduce sounds. So I had a little play with the first couple of lessons, and yeah, very basic stuff to begin with, but it expands. You can also download lesson packs, which are, I believe, included. I've downloaded the Leonard Digital Silent 1 lesson packs here. But yeah, I'll just give you an idea. So there's video tutorials as you go through, and then it asks you to kind of ape what it's doing. So let me show you just how that works.
Pulse width. Pulse waveforms are unique in that many synths allow you to change their shape by adjusting what's known as their pulse width. Switching to pulse, here's our regular pulse wave
tutorial
sound.
videos.
Here's our
Obviously this is a really simple one, and then you can do the challenges. So it gives you a hidden patch. Then you've got to try and come up with that sound. By manipulating the different elements of the synth. As I say, this is super simple. I've just started playing about with this. And then, there you go. I did it. It's cool. Next lesson. Start pulse. So you can see the idea. It's basically a lot of challenges, a lot of lessons. And it takes you through every single element of programming synths. Something I really like the look of, and I'm going to work my way through this. I kind of learnt synths by trial and error, really, but this is the sort of thing which is really going to help definitely some people out, I would say. And yeah, I love the fact that it's kind of tailored to different synths. If you want to learn how to work with Massive or Serum, any of these other synths listed here, those lessons are all downloadable and included as well. And as I say, each one of these has a various tutorial videos, and you can work your way through them. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I thought I'd start with that just for those who are kind of maybe new to synths, or wanting to get a bit more info. Pretty nice. So the next one is, what are we on? It's Air Music Tech's Hybrid 3. This comes on offer now and again. This is one of the best prices I've seen it for. Yeah, it's got sort of analog capabilities with digital settings as well. What I like about this one is it's got a phenomenally large amount of presets. So, let's go through. Show you some of these presets. Loads of different submenus. Sequences as well, 120 different sequences. And anyone who's played with synths before, I think this is quite a simple sort of workflow to get on board with. Got the various different options up here for the A and B sections. Each one's got 3 oscillators, different sequence controls as well. It's a weird one. And then, yeah, these are the global controls. You've got effects as well in there, so you can bang on loads and loads of different effects. And there's controls at the bottom which are basically, as far as I understand, macros, but I haven't really experimented with it too much. But yeah, you can assign things to the morph controls at the bottom. Got loads of different ways to assign stuff. Pretty crazy. And I think a lot of this you can control with MIDI as well if you want to. But yeah, basically the thing I love about this is all the options for the presets to begin with. Some of the sounds are nice and simple, and some are much more complex with sequences and things. You can see where it's going with this. It also includes, I think the offer also includes the expansions, does it? Let's have a look. 1200 presets. Maybe the expansions is a different offer. I don't know. Well, when I downloaded it, I got the expansion set as well, so that's pretty cool. Quite a few on there. So yeah, anyone who's used synths before, I think they'll be pretty familiar with this. Lots of presets, lots of options for tweaking. Loads of options for the effects, just a ridiculous amount of effects on there. Yeah, it's something I really like. It's been around for a while, I think, this synth, and as I say, it's on special offer now and again, but this is a pretty good deal for this one. Excuse me. So, as well as kind of standalone synths and plug-in synths, there's also ones which run in Contact. Normally the full version of Contact. This is Dirty Modular by Samplephonics. Let me just see if I can find that on here. There's so many. Here we are. 64% off. Over 8,000 samples. And you're looking at something which has been programmed to within an inch of its life. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's try that again. VST buzz site is down. Fab. We'll get that up and running. But basically, you've got again a whole different load of presets. Not as many as Hybrid 3, but there's quite a few on there. What I like about this is it has some really basic sort of waveform combos to get you started. My computer's running OBS and a whole bunch of other things, so it's being a bit slow. So these are the kind of basic waveforms, and then you can start patching things around. You can just click on the cables and then start moving them like that. There's some effects. LFOs as well, that sort of thing. Yeah, patching is pretty easy. What isn't quite so easy is the sequencer on this, which sort of runs through a whole bunch of dials, but I kind of like the analog effect of it. You can hear what's going on with that. But some of the presets are really lovely. I mean, those were just the boring waveform combinations, but there's a few other ones as well. See what's going on there. Just thought it was a nice change, you know, Contact synth, nice analog sounds. Let's get the VST buzz site working. There we are. 64% off, 49 euros. It's a nice little tool. The sort of thing that really benefits from a bit of playing about with it. Something that I like to do. And running in Contact, I think you will need the full version of Contact for this. Let me check. Nice thing about VST Buzz is it always says down the bottom exactly what you need. Compatible with Contract. Oh, Contract free player with this one. Fab. So yeah, it will run in the free version of Contact. I will check that in future. Initial Audio's Sector. This is a biggie. People really love this one. Serum is a kind of industry-leading synth, and Sector is very, very similar to it. Loads and loads and loads of presets on this one. In fact, 3 different banks of presets. Let me show you the page on VST Buzz. 90% off at the moment, which is insane. €12.50. Now this is pretty much a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. It's a wavetable synth. If you don't know what that means, it basically means that you've got loads and loads of samples and sort of general waves as well that you can fiddle about with. There's sub oscillators with this, different samples that you can load in. And then you can get lots of different effects. I'm going to whiz through some of these presets. Some of the standout stuff that I like about this synth is the macros. You can pretty much tie anything you want to a macro. So let's say we want to pitch on macro 1, we could do that. Pitch of the wavetable. So I like that, 3 macros that you can fiddle about with. Learn those as well with your mod wheel or whatever you want. That's just running off my complete control keyboard. The effects are nice, lots of those. The sequencer is really comprehensive and it's got loads of presets for the sequencers as well. If you're the sort of person that likes to program in a plugin, you can do that. But this really excels at sort of big, fuzzy, you know, dubstep stuff. It's got lots of different basses on there. See what I mean? There's some global controls. The oscillator functions are really nice. Basically, you can take any of the voices of the oscillators and adjust their pitch, detuning, stereo width, the phase, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So you can literally adjust each one individually. So you get really all kind of surgical control over exactly what's going on with each of the different voices on the 2 oscillators. What I also like about this is you do have a huge amount of options for envelopes and LFOs on the bottom here. There's way too much for me to go into. The matrix is complex as well. I've heard some people get some really crazy sounds out of this thing. I like the wavetable morphing, and also you can see as you hover over stuff you get a really good sort of idea of what's going on, because it basically just pops up explanations of exactly what each of the controls do. So that is a bit of a bonus. Helps you navigate the display nicely. And yeah, as I say, 90% off, which is pretty mental. €12.50, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun with that one. I certainly do. 750 factory presets, 200 wavetables. Mental. Audio Warp Gas. Another one for Contact. Nice little synth. I'll give you the specs on this one if I can find it. Thought that wasn't on the list for a minute. It is. €16 over at VST Buzz. Over 2 gigs of sound. Over 100 presets. And yeah, this is a nice little synth that's been kicking around for a while, based on the Contact engine. I think you will need the full version of Contact for this one. Yep, 5.5.1 or higher. But let me just play you some presets from this one, because I do like the sound of this a lot. It's basically a double layer engine. These are the different layers. It's quite simple to operate. More or less everything's on the front panel here, with a lot of the effects here. Distortion. This is the rotary control. You've got flanger, tremolo as well. And then on the bottom here, especially EQ controls, delay there, reverb is here, the compression as well. So essentially what you're doing is mixing up these two different waveforms. I just think the original samples are rather nice. And you've also got options for sequencing as well, if I can work out how to get that on. I think some of them do have the sequencer already turned on. Semitones on the top, octaves on the bottom. Some nice sounds though, I think. It's not one of the cheapest ones. It's €16, but yeah, I think it's really capable if you've already got Contact. It's a nice one to have. I've used it on a few things myself. This is one of those synth libraries that I've had for a while. It's just got a nice kind of organic sound. So moving on, Plugin Boutique's own synth. This is Virtual CZ or CZ if you're in the States. Now this one looks very old school. It's yeah, it's got a really retro look to it. It's a polysynth, and let me look into the details for you. Virtual CZ. Whoop, 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 whoop. Nice sound. Here it is. With these deals, you can really, go crazy. You can buy as many as you want. They're all pretty cheap. This one is 70% off, so it's €26. VST Buzz. So this is for, brass sounds, synth strings, that sort of stuff. It's good for bass lines. This is the machine that it's emulating, the Casio CZ101, I think. And yeah, this runs standalone. It's directly downloadable from Plugin Boutique. So I like Plugin Boutique. You can store all your serials there and just download stuff from them if you move machines. And it's got 200 presets. So let's have a listen. Just go through some of these. Up to 8 voices. Then you've got different shapes, different waveforms, different envelope shapes rather. Going crazy now, getting all synthed out. This is one that I haven't played with that much, but I want to include it because I just like the sounds basically. There's nothing fancy about the effects. You'll have to put your own sort of effects on to get it to slot into your mix. I think it's just got chorus. Width on there, and there's some vibrato options as well. Can sync that up with your host tempo. The pads on this I think are really nice. If I can find them. I do think the preset organisation is a bit odd on this one, but yeah, there are some nice pads. Where's that? Ah, this one. I had this one before, it was lovely. So get the idea with that one. Now the next one is unusual, and it's a very popular one, I must say. I often get people asking me about this one. It looks like, you know, crazy times on the interface, but everything is actually pretty self-explanatory when you go through it. It's called the Riser. It's by Air Music Tech, and let me see what price I've got it on for, because I think this is going to be a good deal. Just 75% off, which is cool. Lots of stuff here for EDM heads, dance music people, people wanting unique transitions. So this includes the Riser and the Flux Transitions preset expansion. Let me get that right. So you've got 300 presets on there, but regardless of the presets, this is one of those synths that you can sort of just keep going and going and going with and creating your own stuff. It's very cool. So it's designed to do that sort of effect. Rises, sweeps, falls. These are just some of the effects. Let's have a listen to some of the expansions in the Flux Transitions expansion list. So there's one thing I like about this, there's lots of things I like about this, but one particular thing is that you've got a pumper option, which if you're doing dance music and you want things to sidechain along with the beat, you can just literally turn that on. You can set it to the right rate, which is usually a quarter note, increase the depth. And you'll get that pumping sidechain effect without really having to do anything much in your DAW at all. All of these individual controls are basically for generating the sound, adjusting the envelopes of those sounds, and you've got filter, amp controls there as well. So you basically control everything over time. You can quickly reverse things or invert them. Swap them around, so rises become falls. And you've got different effects here, delay, reverb, filtering effects as well. So you can like increase the ambience as the sound goes on or decrease it. whatever you want, and it's all really interactive, so you can just literally drag these lines. This is a product which I like a lot. What you'll be wanting to do to make your own sounds is, you know, take some of these nice sounding presets, and then adjust the sounds, and the noise floor, that sort of thing. Let's try a different one. This is for noise, this is for a chord. This is for the sweep sound. I like to set the pumper on really high to get some kind of crazy glitchy effects. You can also adjust the LFOs over time. There's a tips section down here for a bunch of stuff. This is, yeah, basically if you're doing dance music, this is what you need. All sorts of goodies there. It's one of my favourites. Comes with so many presets, comes with those extra transition expansions as well. And you can't go far wrong with this one if that's the sort of music that you're doing. Normally €71, now just 18. Very good. Okay, this one. I'm going to spend a bit of time on this one because I do not know it that well, but I'm kind of dying to learn it. This is Wiggle by Second Sense. Now, this one is 80% off, which is, again, bargainicious. €17 for this one. And this specific synth is designed to kind of go crazy with LFOs and morphing, that sort of stuff. It's got loads of those controls built in. I'll show you the specific specs at the bottom here. So it's 80% off. I'll show you one of the cool features, which is the built-in sound recorder as well. And yeah, so have a look at that. You've got kind of free form, frequency modulation and phase distortion options. The morph pad is pretty cool in the middle. You can set 4 different variations of the preset and use the morph pad to go between them. And look how lovely this looks. I'm a sucker for a good interface. I just think this looks, you know, so beautiful, so nicely done. And the presets are many and varied. I do also like that there's a tagging system with the presets, so you can go for different types. You can go for who made the presets themselves. There's some cool names on there, and the different types of, you know, if I want to sequence a preset by someone in particular, I could do that. He says, there we go. So I'll show you what's going on here, if I can, because I've only just got to grips with this. There's the main synth section, a sequencer section here, and a utility which includes that record out, which I'll look at in a sec. You've got various different wave shapes which are just draggable. I mean, it's super easy to just grab these nodes, move them around. This is the amp envelope. The effects is on the bottom here. You've got unison controls, detune controls, with width as well. Switch things into legato and glide them. Just turn the sequencer off. Got macro controls as well, like we have on Sector, I think it was. Was it Sector? I'm getting all synthed out. I don't know which one's which. Which you can assign to various things. So these are basically the four different oscillators, and yeah, I like the color coding. The matrix is pretty cool in the middle there. I like being able to go to the different preset options and be able to morph between those. Looking forward to learning that properly, because at the moment I'm not sure how to do it, but this is a good example. You know, the morphing happens automatically. You're going between presets 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see what's happening. I like the keys on this particularly. I'm going to play some of those. And the bass lines are brilliant. I mean, this thing is made for bass, really. Now, I want to show you something with this, which I haven't seen in many synths. It's this utility section. Basically, what you can do is record your input, and then you can drag that out and just play it as a waveform. So you just hit record. Stop that. Then you can drag it, and it appears as a WAV, and you can drop it into anything you want. Drop it back into Logic if you want. See what I mean? So you can create stuff in Wiggle, and then you can dump that out super easily using that function. Something, as I say, that's unique as far as I know. Maybe you know other synths that can do that, but I love that option. There's loads of presets. I'm gonna let me show you through. How many presets are there? I'm not going to go through and count them, but VST Buzz haven't counted them either, so you can see how many there are. This many. Tons. You can also highlight your favourites. That's another pretty cool thing about this. So you can just go for your favourites. So you can vote them up and down. It's lovely. It just looks lovely. I'm looking forward to working out how to use it in its sort of most exotic capacity. But for the moment, yeah, I'm just happy with the presets and fiddling about, exporting things. So I want to finish up with something a little bit weird. This is Retcon's Board of Canada. Anyone who watches the Samplecast will see I've reviewed this a couple of years ago, and I gave it a nice review. It is it's a really, I was about to say odd. It's not odd. It sounds lovely, but it's unusual, I would say. Anyone who's familiar with Boards of Canada is going to kind of know the sounds that this is going to spit out. Dusty, sort of lo-fi stuff. This is 60% off, now €18. And you're looking at a full version of Contact for this, I believe. Yes, Contact 5.5.1 and above. This is by Audio Warp. So you're going to be using this. Oh look, there's me. There's me with my review. You can check that out on the Samplecast website. There's 130 different snapshot presets here. And it's a pretty nice little thing. Let me just shut that down and get it opened up properly. There we are. What is going to put some people off is the crazy ass interface with this. It's very odd. It's got the sort of hexagonal design. All the things that which you'd normally expect from a synth are here. It's just a case of finding them. Once you get a handle on it, it's pretty simple, to be honest. You've got voice 1 on the yellows, voice 2 on the reds, and then some unison controls on the blue. The sequencer section is here. You've got filters here, you've got the FX controls here, modulation here, and options as well. So yeah, it might take you a little while to get to grips with this. When I've used it in tunes, I've really just gone with the presets, which I think have real width and depth, the sort of lo-fi dusty sounds, as I say. It's all nice stuff. One of the nicest things about this, I think, are the kind of options you get with the sequencer. So I'm going to try and show you that, if I can remember how to do it properly. This is the sequencer. And as well as just steps, you've got 16 steps. They run around the outside of the interface here. As well as steps for volume, you can also pitch them, and you can also assign them to chords. So you've got options here for root, major thirds, root, major thirds, minor thirds, and a whole bunch of other ones as well. So yeah, as it runs through the sequence, if you want to, you can assign chords. I'm trying to show you how to do that. If I can remember how to turn the sequencer on, it's up here. See what I mean? You can also pitch. You can pitch and chord at the same time. Oops. So with a bit of work, a little bit of programming, you can get things to sound rather nice with that chord set up. And try and find a preset that's already using it. That's using the pitches. This uses the chords. And this is a dual level synth, so you can come into dual layer synth. So you can come into the two different layers here, and you can choose any of these waveforms here: plucks, pads, leads, and keys. So some gorgeous stuff there, as you can hear. And yeah, once you get a handle on this, slightly weirdo interface. I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this one. It is, as I say, €18, runs in the full version of Contact. It's something that I've recommended to people that are doing sort of ambient lo-fi music for some time now, and yeah, I think you'll enjoy that. So those are 8 synths of the 26, I think, that are available, which is a huge amount of synths over at VST Buzz. They're running in at up to 90% off doing Synth Week, so I'd recommend you click the link in the description below, have a look at them, see if there's anything there that you fancy, and yeah, if you've got any questions about them, drop a query in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.